The wait is almost over for Enzo Maccarinelli. He joins us on the phone now. Enzo, welcome to the show. Enzo was on the phone. I think we haven't paid the bill because he's just hung up.
You know, listen,
we haven't talked about Enzo, indeed.
Yeah, listen, Enzo will just be over the moon to be getting back in the ring, you know, in a proper title fight. He had that fiasco, I think it was in December, when several guys fell out of bed at short notice, and I felt for him then, and he ended up fighting the kid from what's his name, Matt Ellis from Blackpool. Ended up fighting Matt Ellis from Blackpool heavyweight. Wasn't very satisfying because he was meant to have a proper title fight against Jonathan Banks. And don't even get me ranting on Jonathan Banks. Okay, you heard it here first. I told you there's too many people in the world of boxing. They see an unbeaten guy from Detroit wearing Kronk clothing and they think it's the second coming of Attila the Hun stroke Mike Tyson. I said he's too slow. I said he'll get done by Maccarinelli, and he got smashed to bits by Adami. He's not a great fighter, but he would have been a brilliant scalp for our man Enzo.
Let's get Enzo back on the phone then, because Amir Khan and Marco Antonio Barrera will undoubtedly get the majority of the column inches next week. But for Enzo, it's the end of a long road, hopefully, back to a world title. Enzo, welcome to the show.
Hi, Andy. Hi, Matt. Hi, Steve.
You okay, Enz?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Enz, listen, I've spoken to a couple of people. They tell me this Nigerian who was born in London, based in Vegas, cold kryptonite, Ola Afolabi's definitely coming in, Enzo.
Yeah, good. I hope so, Steve. You know, I had a bit of a bad year with everything that's going on, and you know, things are starting to look right. So hopefully, I'll see him in the opposite corner next Saturday.
Well, let's hope so. Enz, you must have been a little bit, you know, annoyed when you saw Jonathan Banks get so brutally exposed the other week.
Yeah, you know, we talked before, Steve. You know, they like you said, they rating about him because Emmanuel Stewart was in his corner. The undefeated record, like you said, from the Kronk gym, and you know, they thought he was a business. But you know, what I had seen of him, he didn't have that much boxing ability. You know, he's very slow and ponderous. You seemed to run out of breath after 4 rounds. Yeah. So you know, he went in with someone like Adamek, who basically destroyed him.
Now, the good thing is, in many ways, Adamek, with the win against Cunningham and the win against Banks, in the period since, you know, you were WBO Cruiserweight Champion a year ago, he's really established himself as the #1 or the highest profile and the man everyone's chasing. So in some ways, and just giving you someone to gun for, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's a front runner at the moment. Can't deny it. He's a #1. He deservedly so. So obviously, you know, that's the fight that I want.
Yeah, it makes sense. Enz, have you spoken to Frank about that fight maybe down the line?
But not at the moment. Obviously, a bit of a court case this week, so I haven't really spoke to anyone. Yeah. But you know, that's the fight I want. You know, I made it clear to Frank when I met him a few months ago. You know, that this is the way I want to go. I know, and he totally agreed with me. So you know, I'm happy with that. And you know, that's a big fight that I want. It'd be great over here in my local stadium in Swansea, or you know, I'll go over there to Chicago Falls. It would be great.
Now, you'd have no problem going overseas if the money was right for the Adamek fight, yeah?
To be honest, Steve, you know, that's been one of my dreams to fight away, fight in America. Yeah. So, you know, if that's the case, you know, I got full confidence it won't go to the judges. So, you know, it won't really bother me. But, yeah, like you said, Adamek's #1, and that's the one I'm chasing.
Enzo, let me ask you, in your opinion, is there a void there for you to step into now that Joe's retired? Can you become the pride of Wales?
Well,
Do you want to?
You know, I'd like to think so. You know, Joe's left a legacy. It's up for me to carry on. You know, being a good Welsh fighter, and you know, but I'm just doing my thing. You know, I just want to recapture where I was. You know, the fire's still burning, and you know, I want to get back a belt, and not just that belt. I want all the belts. It'd be
fantastic to have another night like Joe had against Kessler. 50,000 people packing the Millennium, chanting your name.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I pretty much have actually. I was just on before Joe, but
yeah.
we got a local stadium in Swansea. It only holds 30,000, but it won't be 30,000 Welsh people. It'll be 30,000 Jacks. Swansea boy, so you know the atmosphere will be tremendous down there.
I tell you what, you know, I get lots of, trust me, I get lots of emails from different parts of the country. But one thing that makes all the Swansea emails stick out is they all say Bunty this, Bunty that. They either call me a fat so-and-so, they either say you look good, they either say we love what you say or we hate what you say, but they always say the same thing at the end. You know what that is? They say if ever you're in Swansea, give us a call, we'll go for a drink.
Yeah.
It's consistent. Hey, listen, I've got to ask you one question, mate. It's been doing the rounds both on the on all the websites out there involved with fighting, i.e. boxing and mixed martial arts. Lots of speculation about you and a mixed martial arts future. What's the official line from your lips?
No, it's basically, everyone knows I'm interested in the sport. I think people see me talking to Dana White in Birmingham a few months ago. I said a couple of things, and I do a lot of the ground game. And I'm obviously not brilliant, but I'm picking my level up on the ground in jiu-jitsu. I'm trained by the boy called Simon Davis, who trains under Pedro Bessa, who's number 3 in the world, no-gi grappler. And something I'm interested in. And I had an offer not so long ago, big offer, but it didn't come at the right time. I think if it had come to me about 6 months earlier, when I was very disinterested with the way the sport was going for me, boxing, I would have taken it up. But I am a boxer. It is the sport. I still think it's the best sport in the world. And I want to achieve everything I can at boxing, and then maybe I'll think about the MMA world.
Yeah. Now, Enzo, you mentioned earlier on it's a big week because obviously various people are in court. But let me ask you a question about Joe. Lots of speculation. Richard Schaefer, Bernard Hopkins, all talking about possibly trying to persuade Joe to come out of retirement. Tell us, has he mentioned anything to you? Has he even responded to this kind of talk? Or is that man finished, slippers and pipe?
Well, I seen him in the gym this morning. He come up the gym. He's still keeping active. You haven't given no hint that he's going to come back. And I think if he did come back, I think he'd have to come back within the year.
Yeah.
He won't be able to spend too long out. But it's entirely up to him. I think he's done the right thing. But obviously, if a fire's burning and you haven't lost anything, I'm sure he will come back if he wants to. But on the whole, I've had no hint off him at all that he's going to come back.
Enzo, listen, best of luck next weekend. Will you come in a couple of weeks and bring us the belt? Show it off to us.
Of course I will, mate. Of course I will.
Good man.
See you, Enzo.
Steve, let's just put this one to bed.
Yeah.
I love the thought of Enzo Maccarinelli, UFC, in the cage. Is that, though, in your opinion, too dangerous a fight for both parties? Because if Enzo goes in and wins, it makes UFC look bad. If he goes in there and loses, it's difficult for him to get back in a boxing.
Yeah, well, the big problem is Enzo alluded to it, the old jiu-jitsu, the ground game, as they call it, the ground and pound version. As good as he would be, as brave as he is, as good as he would be hitting these guys on the chin, a lot of UFC, a lot of mixed martial arts is about the ground game, and that's something it takes years to perfect, and that's where he comes up short. And I think he knows against a half-decent mixed martial artist, against any of the top UFC guys, if they get him on the floor, his dislocated shoulder, it's game over. However, if he can stand up, miss their first lunges and kicks, he can take them out with one clean shot. You're right, Andy. It's a very perceptive remark you've made there, my son. It's both sides have got a lot to lose.
Now listen to what you have to say, Bunty.
Carry on, big boy.
In a word, will I get that dream fight? Will I ever see Enzo in a cage? In a word.
Why do you keep asking me to say something in a word?
Just say yes or no.
Not for a long time.
Fair enough.